Welcome to Rossbrook House. As you may have noticed, Rossbrook House is a converted church. It was vacant way back in the mid-70s, and a quite charismatic nun in the community met with some young people in the area who were quite street affected and what do you need? And they needed a safe place to go. And along with them, they lobbied City Hall for some recreation spaces. And lo and behold, they had this vacant church that belonged to them. They gave it to Sister Mac and the young people who were with her, and they converted it into a drop-in center. And so right from the get-go, Rossbrook was a place for the people who needed it, and they created it, and literally they staffed it. And we've kept that model throughout our time here. So the young people who come to Rossbrook House are the people who become the staff of Rossbrook House. So, you know, we're doing this virtual tour because of the COVID crisis, and as you can imagine, things had changed quite a bit. And one of the things for us is that we have alternative school programs. One of the three programs in junior high that's directed by Hugh John McDonald, a local area school, is held right here at Rossbrook House. And they're usually in this far side of the building. This is set up as a school. Some dividers come out of the rooms that we have. And it's really set up, it's quite an ingenious classroom setup when they're here. And that goes daily until 3 o'clock. And then we set everything down, put it away in the rooms, and Rossbrook opens up for all the after-school activities and the outings and all the fun stuff we do with the kids. If you look up at the stage, that big cube over there, you open that thing up and it's like a cartoon. All these musical instruments and everything just pour out on you. We have a drop-in music program, also a music program that helps out with our school programs. And they keep everything in there, take it out a couple of times a week, and you know, really get to do some creative things with the youth coming here. Well, as you know, school went out on I think March 16th and didn't come back. And one of the pillars of Rossbrook House is we're 24 hours whenever school is out. So we're 24 hours every weekend, and we're 24 hours throughout any school holidays. So we had to make a decision then, you know, are we going to open for 24 hours when school's out? And we realized so many doors would be closed, and so many people who really needed a safe place to go, to get some food, maybe some shelter. We knew there was a lot of homeless youth whose doors were being closed to. So we decided, and I can honestly say, because of that staff that I described to you, saying that they were literally, you know, from the participants, that kind of experiential commitment to the place, they were just like, of course we're going to stay open. So no problem for Rossbrook House. We just did what came natural to us, kept the doors open, but we really suspended the programming during that time. You know, the school was gone, the usual activities that we have for the younger kids were gone. We have 2 vans. We're always driving those things to outings and giving kids a safe ride home. We just couldn't do that at the real beginning of this, when the restrictions were strong and people just really didn't know the danger level. Okay, this is our mini gym, or we call it a multi-purpose room. And what happens here daily is during the school year is after school programming. Right now in the summer holidays, it's a summer activity playroom. Most of the younger kids' activities take place here. I mentioned the Learning Always program. That's a really strong program that we have, an after-school program. It carries on into the summer to some extent, and that program really focuses on giving the kids a wide variety of experiences, all the outings, you know, the normal things a family can do, like go to the museum or the Museum of Human Rights, an art gallery, or anything like that, that, you know, they're saying, hey, that's good for you. Well, for our kids too, they get out and they do a lot of that, as well as, you know, sports outings, whatever. but part of that program is a real focus on math and reading, and we do get volunteers and staff in to work on those specific skills. Here on the far side, you've got a little library. Regardless of how many people are going online now, we still try to get those physical books in there and get kids reading and loving to read, and that's what it's all about. The area downstairs, much like a rec room for teenagers, and that's who hangs out down here, would be the teenage crowd and the young adults. Rossbrook focuses on youth between 6 and 24 years old. Most of the activity and the programming is for 6 to 17-year-olds, but the older youth and teens can come here and play pool, get something to eat, hang around, and also there's quite a few job opportunities at Rossbrook for that age group. One of Rossbrook's school alternative programs that's not at this site, that's just down the street at a place we call Elgin House, that would have the teens and the young adults, and that's Rising Sun Alternative High School, and that's in association with Gordon Bell. So we have these associations with the school system and young people, and if you're hanging around here, you don't have a place to go to school, we can often get people hooked up at Rising Sun. So downstairs is also where we have our kitchen, and it's a commercial grade kitchen. We were so happy when we got that. When Rossbrook started, it was all about just donated bags of donuts and muffins and bad coffee, and not the greatest, healthiest thing, but it was like harm reduction. It was better than nothing. And as we've been able to get a better food supply into people, we really know, and especially from talking to our friends over at the Health Science Center, we know we're making such a difference in health determinants, especially around nutrition. I mean, this area, super high incidence of diabetes and some other kind of nutritionally based conditions that you can get. And just having good food and fresh produce, if you're spending a lot of time at Rossbrook, you can get that in them, it'll make a big difference later on. So we're really happy about that. We usually pump out a couple of meals, set meals a day, and during the summertime that'd be kind of brunch and then a light supper around supper time. And during the school year, we have school lunch programs and breakfast programs, and then a light supper for the kids after school. There's a lot of food at Rossbrook all the time. We also make up bag lunches and things like that to give to people when the kitchen's closed or we're overnight and you just need something to eat and get by. So we've been lucky enough that we've just kept the kitchen going, and a lot of the kids have really appreciated that. And during the real crisis time, we had people really literally just coming here for the food. And that was a big thing that a lot of people realized, that there needed to be food distribution. And so there's a lot of groups that we're involved with who are delivering hampers to families and doing a lot of work around making sure that people have food. There's so many great things about being a United Way agency and the way that they look out for the agencies that are involved with them. But the most important thing from my point of view is that they give support to our operational funding, so we can count on that support. We can leverage other support because of it. And literally, the kids coming through our door, the 80 kids during a day, the people who are staying here overnight, all the different things that we do for the kids, those things, they count on them. And so many of those things are supported by, kind of a circle of support. And when we know we can count on those things, then we can do the same thing for the kids. They know they can count on us. So we just so appreciate that the United Way funds that way. and that it's for our operations annually. But they bring in a ton of other resources. Our music program would never have started without the United Way. They introduced us to somebody who was interested in starting a music program, and because of that, we were able to do that, leverage the funds to make it happen. In so many ways, they've got us associated with other like agencies. We've formed a fantastic alliance of youth agencies where we really build on each other's strength to leverage and help the kids out even more. But one thing I'm telling you, any day that I come here and that you see the effect that the place and the staff and just the everything that's happening in a kid's life, and the effect of just having good relationships here, doing something fun, enjoying life, it so needs to happen, and you make it happen by supporting the United Way for us and a lot of other places. Now, I've got to tell you, during the COVID crisis, when we had to make that big decision, can we stay open 24 hours when so many doors will be closed? We want to be open. United Way was so supportive. Before I could even think of approaching them, they approached me, and they approached Rossbrook House in terms of helping us and what would be the extra costs for keeping the place open 24 hours. I outlined those, and they marshaled support to help with that. So that's the way they are. You know, they know the agencies they deal with well. And so you being a part of that, you always know that the right things are happening when you support United Way, and it's getting right to the people who need it, who would not have that support otherwise. That's crucial. You're not just giving extra to somebody who's already got something. You're really providing support for kids so that they can live the way kids should be able to live, you know, and do things and feel good about themselves and feel like they belong, and you know, feel safe. All those important things to growing up. You support that by supporting the United Way and a whole bunch more.